Hi, I'm here with Cliff Splawn. He's the business manager for Span Inc. Meals on Wheels, and he's been with Span for over 18 years. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your history with Span?
Well, I started with Span in 1998 as a contract IT person. I mostly came over in the evenings or on weekends, and they'd leave a list for me of things that I needed to fix for them. And after a couple of years of working for them that way, in 2001, they asked me if I'd like to come over full-time. So I quit my job in McKinney at the McKinney Job Corps over there as a foreign distribution manager and came over here as a technical analyst. And then a couple of years rolled by and they had an open position for a business manager, which they'd never had a business manager before, but they had created a position before I came in. And after working with me for a few years, I guess they felt like I would be right for that position. So changed my job from technical analyst to business manager. And we had about $5-6 million in revenue for those years. But in 2004, we had a downturn. The city of Denton and Louisville decided they wanted to go with someone that could create a transit authority. So we lost both Denton and Louisville contracts, and which resulted in about $2 million in loss for Span. So ever since then, we've been working towards creating revenue streams to help support transit and meals, and we've made contracts with cities and all to bring more revenue in. And so we went from, like in early parts of, or middle parts of 2000, around 2006, so from borrowing money to make payroll to actually now these days having a budget surplus of 60 to 90 days. So it's really been a journey.
That has been a journey. Absolutely. Yeah. And why do you think that Span has weathered the storm and gotten to this place?
Well, they have good people working for them now, and I mean, they'll do anything to try to help keep the programs going and keep everyone that needs the service to try to give them the service within the boundaries of our program requirements and those sort of things.
What has inspired you to spend so many years at Span?
It's just been the desire to see Span do good. And of course, it's been first few years I worked as a business manager was not doing too well, so I just wanted to stay with it and do everything I could to make the company succeed.
And how does it feel now that you're in this place where we're seeing this surplus and we're seeing potential for growth on the horizon?
Yeah, it's been really good coming back from just barely $1 million budget to now we're over $3 million. So it's really good right now for Span, and I'd like to see it continue that way into the future.
And speaking of the future, how do you envision this future for Span?
I think Span's probably going to continue to increase its service in Denton County on both meals and transit. And hopefully someday maybe we could get into like a newer facility in this area to where we could even expand more.
Yeah. Exciting.
Yes.
I hope so too. Why do you think Span is such a special place to work?
It's the people. The people here, they're just good. It's not like a regular place where everybody is backstabbing everybody. It's everybody works real well together. We get along, and they're here to do what they can to help SPAN succeed, which is normally not what you see at an organization where they're trying to work to make themselves better rather than the company they work for. So
people
really
put
like
SPAN first.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And why do you think that is? It just so inspired about the help that they give to the seniors and veterans and people with disabilities that...
Yeah, it's just that group of people that we've had. They come to work here and stayed working here because that's what they like to do, and that's what's made us successful, coming back from some really low times.
Yeah, I agree. Tell us a bit about how SPAN brings in revenue. What are the different ways that we bring in money to the organization?
Well, we have a lot of government grants that really help us out in both transit and meals. That's a large amount of our funding, but like I say, we've developed contracts with communities to bring in a local match so that we could expand our programs even further, because federal funding, some of it only pays for 50% of what on the dollar, 50 cents on the dollar. So we have to have another 50 cents to go match with it. So big contracts with the cities to cover that other half has really helped out. Of course, we get money from fundraising events we do. We've been starting to do 2 or 3 of them a year now instead of one every couple of years. And then we have fund development, which is where you apply for grants, and we receive funding from foundations and corporations that way. And then just general donations where they just come up and say, here's some money, go support your programs. That's been real good too.
And how important are these donations that people give to us?
Very important. I mean, that's the basis for how we operate, is to have the support of the communities we serve and the support of the people to help out to advance the programs.
Thanks for joining us today. And thank you, Cliff, for sharing a little bit about your experience with SPAN with all of us.
You're welcome.